So now we get to my favorite type of entitlement, the booktubers who blame the racism in booktube for the fact that they aren't successful. Alright, I'm not a nice person, and booktube is filled with very nice people who I think don't want to make people angry and want to be nice and want to be friends with everyone, so they may not call this out, but I am, because I'm not a nice person, and I'm sick and tired of people like this framing booktube in a bad light, because you're calling people throughout booktube, one of the most inclusive and welcoming communities on this platform, racist. The community that literally goes out of their way, bends over backwards to welcome minorities, gay, bi, ace, all those kind of different things on this community. There are small black booktubers. There are big black booktubers. I recently beta read for one of those women. She is one of my favorite booktubers, and I was delighted to get the opportunity to beta read for her. Don't you dare try to guilt trip the people in this community. Don't you dare try to be manipulative towards them. That is not fair, because a lot of them go out of their way to help people like you, and then you go around and talk smack about them. That is entitlement to a T, and I'm sick and tired of seeing stuff like that on booktube. Now you may say, oh, it's because you're white that you don't understand. Do you think that everyone doesn't struggle at some point with booktube? A lot of people do. A lot of people struggle. A lot of people think to themselves that they're never gonna make it, and some of them don't. I'm tired of seeing good people manipulated into thinking they're bad because someone decides that they are going to make a fuss over the fact that there aren't a lot of so-and-so on booktube. There are genuine discussions to be had about African American literacy or Mexican or Hispanic, that kind of thing. Because here's the thing, in the United States, inner city schools where a lot of these minority groups go to, they're terrible schools. A lot of high schoolers graduate with a third grade reading level. There are problems deep within the literary community with these communities, and people would rather complain about how they don't get enough views than talk about actually helping these people in real life.
Put your head on my shoulder.
I want y'all to know that this cup is actually empty. There's nothing in here at all. I just wanted to have it for dramatic effect. Now, honestly, before I start this video, I was planning on making a response video like earlier this morning when I woke up and a tweet blew up. But I was gonna make the response video like more like on the comedic side. Like, I wasn't gonna have it be like all too serious, because though I feel like the topic was important, I felt like I kind of felt remorse, which is a strange feeling for me, but I kind of felt remorse. And then she posted her apology video, and I was like, oh, okay, well, she posted her apology video, I'm just gonna scrap the whole thing. I'm not gonna post the discussion video at all. I watched the apology video, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. There are so many issues I have with this video, not even just her attack on people of color, but her attack on other people in this community as well. She starts off this video with saying about how she doesn't really like discussion videos and how she doesn't know why there are discussion videos. And she doesn't say this exactly, but this is kind of like what I took from it. Basically, she thinks that booktube should only be about books and their writing. But booktube has evolved. There are a lot more people on booktube than there were when it first started off last month. Booktube is evolving. So of course people are going to talk about things that differ from books. Of course people are going to talk about their issues with the community, because there are a lot of issues in this community that a lot of booktubers just don't want to talk about. Like, a lot of people don't feel comfortable with making discussion videos, and I understand that and I get that. And you don't have to make discussion videos if you don't want to. She holds booktube to this like very, very high standard, as if it's like some celebrity that's like, as if booktube is like this celebrity that can do no wrong. You can ignore the issues and booktube all you want to, but that doesn't change the fact that there are issues. Also, she states how she thinks that posting, please go like, she thinks that posting, please go check out my channel, I'm like blah 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 subscribers away from blah blah number that I set my goal to, as begging for subscribers. Now, I would say a good 500 or 600 of my subscribers come from me promoting myself. When I posted my comments, someone even stated about how promoting yourself is no different from people handing out their business cards, from makeup artists posting their makeup on their own Instagram accounts telling you to go watch the recent video. There's no difference. So I don't see how telling people that promoting their self is begging for subscribers. Like, you may not feel like comfortable for like telling people to go subscribe to your account, but it's completely okay for other people to do it. And who are you to tell people that that's begging for subscribers? She also comments about how she unsubscribed to someone because their camera was out of focus, and she goes on talking about how she has this $50 webcam that literally no one cares about. Like, okay sis, you have a $50 webcam. Like, why did you unsubscribe to that girl who had the unfocused lens, like her camera was unfocused the whole time? Like, why would you unsubscribe to her instead of commenting like, hey, your videos are out of focus, or following her on Twitter and DMing her and letting her know? Before me and Minka were friends, like, my videos were the sound was always too low. I always talked too low. So she would always comment like, hey, it's kind of hard for me to hear you in this video. So you know how I fixed it? I turned my sound up when I edit my videos. So why don't you tell that girl that her videos are out of focus instead of unsubscribing to her? Like, who are you to unsubscribe to someone just because their videos are out of focus? Just because their videos don't live up to the expectations that you have for your videos? I film off my iPhone and my videos are doing just fine. Other people film off their phones and their videos are doing just fine. I literally will watch, you could film on a potato and I will watch your video and I will support you. Because in booktube, it does not matter what kind of content you have. We're just here to support each other. Okay, and lastly, my biggest issue is she starts off her conversation with saying how she's not nice, and how everyone on booktube is just so nice and they want to be friends with each other, and how she states how booktube is so accepting of people of color, sexuality, etc, etc. She says they're accepting of it as if it's a gift, as if we should just be thankful that booktube accepts us into this community, as if it's like, you know, like she says it as if it should be a privilege to be accepted if you are a person of color or minority in general. Like, we should just feel so happy that the straight white people accept us into their community. She also goes on to say a lot of things that come off a bit racist. I won't call her racist because I don't know her, but she does come off very prejudiced and like this close to race. It's her tone and the way that she talks about us, how she refers to us as people like you, and just like that. Like, in the video she has no problem with saying African American, but then she says people like you. So I don't really understand. She also mentions how she watches a black booktuber and has better read for their story, but how, like, what does that have to do with anything? That's literally just as good as me being like, that's just as good as a white person saying that they have a black cousin, they have a black friend, their boyfriend is black. Knowing black people does not stop you from being racist or prejudiced against black people. Knowing a person of color does not exclude you or stop you from being racist to that person or that race. Also, she just says how we always try to call Booktube racist, and that's not the case. I mean, Booktube could be racist, but most of the time those titles are clickbait, and it's not even just racism and Booktube, it's just people discussing their problems that they have and how hard it is for them to gain subscribers. And it's like, a lot of people of color do have trouble gaining subscribers. A lot of people on Booktube don't have other people to look up to. Like, I know Zafina, like, from the Psycho Nick, she talks about how there aren't any Asians like her on Booktube and how she wants to change that. Or people of color are not as popular on Booktube as white people. Name a black person on Booktube who has exactly 50K. Exactly. Saying that there isn't racism in something does not mean that it's not. Like, she just holds Booktube to this very high standard, and I don't understand. Like, she has it on this high pedestal, and it's like, just because you don't see the issues doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Let me go on to her apology video. Instead of just acknowledging where she went wrong and saying I'm sorry, she just proceeds to let us know why she thinks Booktube isn't racist, and she talks to people of color. She refers to us as these people instead of just saying people of color or our exact race. She didn't have no problem saying African American in her last video, but she refers to us as these people. She also refers to us as if we're not a part of the Booktube community. In her apology video, she was saying she was defending the people of the Booktube community. Last time I checked, I was a part of the Booktube community as well. Her apology video does not help the situation at all. She talks about it as if we should feel happy that we're accepted into Booktube, but also doesn't include us. When she talks about Booktube, she does not include us. She kind of like segregates us, you know? She refers to us as people of color who just happen to be on Booktube instead of people of color in Booktube. And a lot of she just comes off very, very prejudiced. I won't say racist and I won't call her racist, but she's close. And a lot of people may think, like, I don't know her, so I can't really call her that, but she does come off as that. And her apology video was not good, because usually when you apologize, you acknowledge that you were wrong and you say that I'm sorry. Instead, she just continued to say how she doesn't think, like, she was trying to prove to us her point that she made in her last video. Honestly, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Booktube does have a problem with people of color not being acknowledged the same and not being treated the same as anyone else in this community, and it hurts me that we're still, like, that we have this issue, and that there are people in this community who don't want to acknowledge that we have this issue. And instead of saying, okay, I don't exactly see that, like, she treats us as if, like, it doesn't exist. And it's like, if people say it's happening, it's happening. Who are you to tell me that it's not happening because you don't see it?